Thank you very much, Daniel. So, as Daniel said, what I'm going to do now is actually take you through a live platform. The platform I'm going to take you through is the platform of Manchester Grammar School, which, as Daniel said, we actually transitioned from the legacy platform to the next generation platform just this morning. And I'm going to split this into two parts. The first part, I'm going to show you the core user end of the platform, especially focusing on the amazing design, UX, and how that's going to maximize engagement. And then after that, I'm going to take you through some of the key admin tools, especially focusing on how flexible and customizable the platform is. So the page you're looking at is the home page, the landing page of Manchester Grammar School, MGS Global Connect. And you can see, of course, it's been very strongly branded for Manchester Grammar. They've got their own pictures. We've got some animation over here, and more animation as you scroll down. You'll notice there's various pictures and words over here. And something you'll see throughout the platform is that it's completely customizable in terms of the wording as well. So all of these words have been chosen by the Manchester Grammar School team. It's not only in English. If you'd like your platform in any language, we can do that as well. And you get to customize all of the translations as you wish. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through the registration process itself. And we've actually added in the new platform an additional registration process. So in addition to LinkedIn, Facebook, and email, you can now register with Google as well, obviously becoming increasingly important. And something we're going to be adding in the near future also, as a lot of you have been asking for, is single sign-on as well. So if you want to give your users the option to sign in with Shibboleth, for example, we'll have that here very soon also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Google button in order to actually create an account. So I've just given authorization to Google to access my account. And you can see it's already pulled in some information. That's obviously not my picture. I've just put that there because to not contrast with the other profile you'll see in a moment. And I wanted to point out a few things in the registration process which are very important. Firstly, you'll notice the first page of registration looked extremely simple and clear. The email address and profile picture have already been pulled in from Google, and there's other information that's also pulled in more if you register with LinkedIn, but there's various information we take from your social networks. The only other thing you need to do at this stage is select your affiliation. So if you open that up, you can see there's two affiliations over here. In your platform, you can decide to have as many affiliations as you like. So many of you will want to have staff, you might want to have parents, donors, grandparents, or any other affiliations you want to have. And something I'll show you on the admin side of the platform when I get there is exactly how you customize each of those affiliations. So if you want to have various levels of access for each type of user, we can do that as well. What happens when we select one of the user types is that it automatically customizes the entire registration process to match that user type. So you'll see over here, another question just appears over here at the bottom when I selected the top option, the Old Mancunian. And you can see also the steps of registration will also match the user type. So you can decide which pages in registration appear for each user, not only which questions appear. And something that you've been asking for, of course, is that users can have more than one affiliation. So if you want to have multiple affiliations, you could do that as well. And obviously, users will get the maximum control based on their affiliations. So I'm now going to go on to complete the first page of registration. The question they've decided to ask over here is the year of graduation. Let's pick the current year. And of course, very importantly, I have to agree to terms of use and privacy policy, and of course that I will be receiving emails and notifications. That, of course, is very important in order to be GDPR compliant, which is at the forefront of everyone's mind. And shortly, I'm going to talk about also some more GDPR extra functionality we've added as well in the 5th page of registration. I click on continue, and I get to take into the 2nd page of registration. I'm going to fill this in quite quickly, just to point out a few interesting features. So firstly, I'm giving my street address. As you saw, that was from Google, so as I typed, the matches from Google Maps appeared, so that matches automatically. And all these questions that you see in registration are decided by yourselves, the admin. So these are the questions that happen to have been decided by Manchester Grammar to have in their registration process. And as you can see, some of the fields are multi-select, some are free text, some are single select, and all of that is decided by yourselves as well in the admin settings. I'm not going to fit in all of the questions. You can see some of these are not mandatory. They're optional fields, which of course is decided by yourselves, so I've just filled in the bare minimum. The third page of registration is about how you're willing to help. So again, for each user type, you can decide how people can offer to help. These are all options that you can customize. And you can also now decide which are pre-selected and which are not as well. So I'll leave that as it is for now. Click on continue and get taken to the fourth page of registration, which is new and now the flip side of that coin. So people can now say not only how they're willing to help, but also how they would like help as well. And that helps us within the platform when it comes to a lot of the matching, the algorithms, when we're suggesting people who they should connect, when they should connect with each other. If we know how people would like help, in addition to how they're willing to help, it very much helps us make that connection. And then the final page of registration, which is very important, is all about opting in, donor opt-in. So due to GDPR, obviously the first and most important thing is that we're fully compliant, which of course we are. But we've now taken an opportunity here because it's now a lot harder for you and your institutions to gain donor consent to send them marketing material and other communications. So we've now created a brand new page of registration, which you have the option to add, where you can decide to ask users what are the communications they want to opt into, in addition to obviously the core graduate communication. So again, all of these words have been chosen by the Manchester Grammar School. You can decide exactly what options you'd like to select, what opt-in you'd like to give. Obviously, those cannot be pre-selected. And once they finish registration, then all of that information will be given to you. You can obviously download it and use it as you see fit. The user's now gone to pending approval, so I'm just very quickly going to flip over to the admin side of the platform, where you'll see that this user is now pending approval. I'll click to approve that user, and I'll then just go back to the platform where I will have access to the core user pages. So this page that we get to, the landing page, is the feed. And as Daniel said, one of the big changes that we have in the next generation platform is that the feed is now the focus of the platform. As Daniel said again, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of the other core social and professional networks, that's how they work. It's all about feeding information to the user. The user doesn't always know how to go and find the relevant information, so we now have a customizable feed. All of the content that you see over here has been selected for the user. So the actual content that you see is actually a combination of automatic widgets which appear based on their profile and things that users have posted. So for example, you actually see the very first widget over here is showing me other classmates. So we know what the user's class is based on the information they filled in and the information you pre-populate. And you can see over here, it shows me straight away who else from my class has already registered and is on the network. Another automatic widget is appearing over here, positions you may be interested in. So you can see, because I selected my job function as education and my location is Manchester, it's picked out this job. I might want to be a teacher of PE in Manchester Grammar School. Simon, we can speak about that afterwards, yeah? And as we scroll down, you can see other posts that people have made. You can see there's a combination of photos. And actually, what we can do now, I'm going to show you, is to show you how you can actually embed external photos and videos directly in the feed. So I've already prepared a link from YouTube, one of my favorite songs. And then when I actually paste it in the feed, if I want to do that, we're using a tool called Embedly, and that will take the video from YouTube or any other channel, and you'll be able to post it, and it can play directly within the feed as well. Just looking around the rest of this page, you can see that the main menu is now on the left-hand side, so it's very open and exposed, so you can very easily see exactly what's available at any time. On the top, we've added some additional branding, so it feels very homely, very trusted. And on the right-hand side, we have a kind of promotional section where you can promote some recent jobs, people that have recently joined the platform. You've got a widget there where you can ask for donations, and you can add additional social media feeds such as Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, etc. So whereas the feed is really the most important page of the platform because it delivers the content in a very easily digestible way to the users, of course, the directory is no less important, because often people are going to want to go to the directory to actually search for specific users or users based on specific criteria. So again, what we've done over here is, in addition to making the design a lot better, we've also improved the functionality and usability. So we have some extra tabs over here. So if you want to find people based on your class, your location, your industry, etc., you can do that. And actually, as I click on all of those, it's actually filtering on the right-hand side. So as you do an advanced search, you can see over there those filters taking place. So once I find someone that I'd like to be my mentor, I click on their profile, and it takes me to their profile page. So as you can see over here, I've gone to my profile page. This is actually a profile I created earlier before this presentation. I did it using my LinkedIn account. So you can see it's pulled in my LinkedIn photo. It's got my LinkedIn summary over there. And as I scroll down, there's more LinkedIn information, such as my work experience as well. So if I want to contact this user, there's a number of different ways I can do that. Firstly, of course, I can send them a regular message. That will be a message that gets sent through the platform, and obviously the user gets notified via email as well. But very importantly, we've also added a number of other communication tools that the user can now use when they're messaging other users, and this is especially important when it comes to people's mentoring relationships as well. So we've now given the user the option to embed numerous other social media communication tools into their profile and allow other people to communicate with them that way. So you can see over here I've added a number of my own social networks to my page. And I can actually communicate with the user directly by clicking on that. So for example, we use a Skype API, which if I was logged in, it would now automatically generate a Skype call with the user, which is amazing for mentoring or any other chats. If I want to send the user a Facebook message, I can do that as well. Again, I could log in, and that will go straight to my Facebook messaging, and I can communicate that way. Another great feature that we've added recently, yesterday, is this calendar integration tool. So if I want to send the other user an actual invitation to put into their calendar, I simply click on that icon, and I can fill in the basic information of what it is that I'd like to meet about and send them that invitation. So the first thing I can do is I can add a topic. I select the exact time and date of when it is I'd like to meet with them, and I can select how I want to meet with them. So I can either include a Google Hangout link, I can include their Skype link, I can say we'll chat by phone and put the phone number in there, or I can decide I want to actually meet in person. So let's say I wanted to meet the Jam Factory, because I didn't make it last night. You can see again that's using the Google API, and it's putting in the exact address. I can then put in any information that I want over here about why I want to meet, when I want to meet. Does this time work for you? And once I'm happy with all of that, I click on send, and the invitation was sent. What I'll actually try and do now is log into my email and actually show you that invitation, how that would appear on the user end. Let's just hope there's not anything too embarrassing in there right now. Yep, and there we go. There we have the invitation I just sent. You can see all the information over there. This works with any calendar system, and I can respond, click on yes, which will add it directly into my calendar, and all of the functionality you'd expect from a full calendar integration. Going back to the profile that I'm looking at, so that's about how to communicate with them. On the right-hand side, I can see also how I can ask them for help. So as you're recording registration, users have the option to offer and indicate how they're willing to help. So if I'm reaching out for help or for mentoring, I simply click on that option, select how I would like help based on the options they've given, write the message, and that will then send them a message. And if that's a mentoring request, it will generate an option for them to reply to the mentoring request and accept it, thereby establishing the relationship. When it comes to mentoring, often people want to use the directory in order to find a mentor when they know exactly what they're looking for. But we've also found that people need help often when finding a mentor. We need to be able to suggest mentors for people as well. So something else we've added in order to improve the experience of the new platform is a page where we actually suggest mentors for people. And there's a number of widgets that appear over here on this page, and they're all about helping people find relevant mentors. So we have the example for the option, for example, to find mentors by companies and to find mentors in your area. There's a map over here. And we also at the top have suggested mentors. And you can see that with the suggested mentors, it shows you the percentage match. And what's great about this feature is that you can decide as admins what's important to you when it comes to suggesting mentors. So if you've got specific criteria where you want to match people by, be it based on fields of study, location, industry, or anything else, you can decide how that algorithm works exactly. And when I get to the admin pages, I'm going to show you exactly how you set that up. I'm not going to take you through every single page over here. There's a lot of things, and I want to have time to show you the admin side as well. But just to highlight some of the other core pages, we of course have a job board over here, so you can see all of the jobs that have been posted. If you scroll down the page, you can see that there's also other companies in your network. So in the event, for example, that you cannot find a job from all the jobs that have been posted, we do nevertheless obviously have an amazing network of people who are willing to help you. So if you want to see some of the other companies which are featured in your network, you can click over there and it will take you to the directory to find people in the companies you're interested in. We also are improving our RSS feed. So for those of you that have been using it, you'll know that up to now, you had to create a feed that exactly matches the Graduate tags, the Graduate fields. We've now created the whole tool where you can arrange that mapping so we can actually absorb any feeds, any job feed. And we're also going to have some pre-prepared customizations for Simplicity and for Handshake. So if you want to, if you work with those companies and you want to import those job feeds, we can do that for you as well. Moving down, I'm going to skip the groups page to get something that's currently in development. And I'm going to take you to the events board. The events page again, it looks really great. You can see over here all of the events as you can scroll down. They'll be separated into sections based on the ones that you're invited to and the ones that you've not accepted invitations to. And then on the right-hand side, we've also added 2 new widgets over here. Those widgets also going to help you filter the events. So if there are a lot of events on this page, you can simply click on any of the dates indicated where there are events. You can click on that and you can go into the event to find out more information and to register. Below that, again, similar principle. If you were interested in an event in a specific region, you've got the Google map over here again. You click on that, and again, you go into the event for more information and for registration. Before I end the user end of the demo, I just want to show you very quickly that the platform is, of course, fully mobile responsive. So let's say I'll just take the page I'm on now, for example, just refresh it, and you'll see that the page is fully customized for mobile. So the design works with any device, with any screen. And of course, we're working on the mobile app, the downloadable app as well, for the App Store and the Play Store. And that app now includes all of the functionality of the platform, not only the user end, but also if you want to manage your platform on the go as an admin, all of the admin tools are fully responsive and customizable for a mobile screen as well. I'm now going to pause on the user end of the demonstration. I'm going to take you through the admin end in a moment, but maybe I'll just pause for a couple of minutes if there's any questions on the user side before we do the admin.
Thank you very much for that. Question, the stories that you want every person when they go onto the system to see, so your success stories as an institution that you don't want to see simply through a feed, but to be there rather more permanently, where will they reside?
So I didn't catch that. Daniel, do you want to paraphrase?
So you were talking about a permanent story. Where does it reside, or how do you make it more prominent?
Make that visible on the homepage.
How do you make a prominent story more visible, permanent? Maybe?
So something that we've added, because that's feedback we had quite a lot, is we've given the option to pin anything to the feed that you'd like to. So I'll show you that right now. So if I go to the admin side of the platform, you'll see as an admin I have the option to pin any story to the very top. So you can pin up to 2 stories and you can change that any time. So whatever you think is most important and you want everyone to see, you can do that. And obviously you also have all of the other tools that you would like to, which you can as regular use to promote content. So if you have a top story you want to appear in the newsletter as well, you can obviously do that too.
That was another question. And just to add one small point to that as well, the newsletter that will be sent out is now a personalized newsletter. Because the feed is personalized and customized for each user, the newsletter that's sent out is also customized and personalized for each user. So I don't know if that was clear. There was another question or a few questions. Yes?
Michael, how does one edit the contact methods? So you had Skype, YouTube, Messenger. Are they customizable? How are they imported in?
Yeah, let me show that to you, Russell. So if I go back to my user profile, you can see here we've got the edit profile page. And you can see over here, I can put over here any links that I want to any of my social media. So I put those links in. And obviously, I have control also over what I want to show. So if I go to my main settings page, you'll see over here I can also connect my other social accounts, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Google. But also I have all of the privacy controls. So if I have my phone number on there, for example, but I don't want people to see it, I can of course hide it. And we've also added this other option over here for mentoring relationships only. So if there's certain social or contact information that I'm happy to show only to my mentors or mentees, but not to everyone else, I can pick that middle ground over here, and then that information will only appear to people I'm in a mentoring relationship with.
We'll take 3 more questions, and then we're going to...
Serena from Sussex University. We have a large Chinese alumni population. I'm noticing that obviously Google, accessing that in China can be very challenging, if at all. Again, YouTube, etc. How will the new version of the platform be fully accessible to our Chinese alumni and the social media platforms that they use?
Yeah, good question. I've actually had conflicting reports about which social media channels you can and can't use in China. It might depend on the region, I imagine. You have control over which login methods you use. So if you want to turn off any login methods, if it's not working for your alumni, you can do that. Obviously, when all else fails, there's always the regular email option, which will work for everyone. We're obviously limited to whatever controls they have in any regions of the world, but as you can see, we're constantly adding more registration methods as options to try and accommodate as many as possible.
Can we, in the menu, change the name of, for example, directory to yearbook? So can we do this kind of change? And also in translations, can we change the translation that are given to us? For example, if we would like to adapt some of the names?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the things I'm going to show you in the admin side. The platform is now fully customizable, so you can literally change any word that you want in the whole platform. We obviously come with some default words and translations, but any words, whether it's the menu item or anywhere else in the platform, where you want to change the words, whether it's in English or any other language, you have control to do that.
We'll take one more question at the top. Michael's here for the rest of the day, so I just want to make sure you don't think we want to give a taster of the questions, but he will answer everybody's question if we don't get to. John, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is answering a lot of the things I was looking for. In my part of the world, the mobile, I would say, is the key connecting device. I want to see 2 things: connection with SMS and connection with WhatsApp, because these are the things that I use. Yeah. At least on my continent, yeah.
So SMS and?
WhatsApp.
Okay, so WhatsApp don't have any API with an integration that can be used. So unfortunately, that's not something we can integrate into the platform. And SMS is something that we're planning on building out in due course. Exactly how we do that, whether that's something for the admin to communicate with or peer-to-peer messaging is something we're looking into at the moment.
So, okay. We're going to pause. We're going to show you the back end. Again, I want to remind you of the 3 principles I was asking you to judge us by as we go through. Does it look great? Does it look delicious, right? UI, UX design. What do you think? Right? I'm not completely biased. I know I'm... Number 2, can you see why it's going to deliver more engagement? It's customized, it's personalized, it's leveraging big data and hard data, it's feed focused. And number three, you're going to see more of this in a minute, the level of flexibility, the level of customization takes us to the 100%. So many of the questions, all the feedback you give the customer success managers, we take it on board, and I hope you're hearing that and feeling that. So Michael, do you want to take us through the back end now of the platform?
Yeah, great. So what I'm going to do now again is I'm going to, like I did with the user end, I'm going to take you through some of the admin side of the platform. I'm conscious of time, there's tons to go through here, so I'm going to really pick out some highlights for you, but hopefully that will be enough to whet your appetite. So I've just gone over here to the admin side. I'm gone here, we've got, you saw before the pending page with our pending users. We've got other tools over here, such as downloading the active user list and uploading other lists. But I just want to spend a few minutes talking about the settings page, which is quite interesting. So approval settings page is really about deciding who gets access to your platform. For those of you that have the legacy platform, you'll know we had some quite rigid rules about deciding who exactly gets access, who doesn't, and how it's customized. So some of the feedback we got is you want to have more control over that, and that's exactly what we've done over here. So what you'll see over here is you can decide when people register what happens to them. So either they do not get access, no one get access. That means that every person that tries to join the platform will need to be manually approved. And we have the option for everyone, which means that everyone who tries to join gets automatic access without having to be manually approved. But for most of you, you're going to be picking one of these with these options over here, where only people that are pre-populated or from CRM will get automatic approval. That means that you can upload a list of pre-populated users, or for those of you that have an integration with your CRM, such as Razor's Edge, NXT, Blackboard CRM, or Salesforce, you can automatically approve them based on them being within that CRM. But what we've added over here is the ability for you to decide exactly on what basis that approval takes place. So let's say, for example, you've pre-populated a list of users. On what basis do we match those users? How do we decide that that user in the pre-populated list is the same user that's now registering on the platform? So what we've done over here is we've given you a list of all of the categories in your system, and obviously you decide what those categories are, and you can decide on what basis that matching takes place. So you can see what Manchester Grammar have done is they've decided that if a match takes place based on email or first name, last name, and the year they left Manchester Grammar, then we assume it's a match. We'll import their constituent ID number, unique ID number, and we'll automatically approve them. And you can have as many of these rules as you want, and any combination of fields, and the automatic approval will take place only on how you've defined it. Scrolling down this page, we also have a number of emails and notifications. And as with the platform itself, all of the notifications you can also customize the wording of. So again, you have default wording over here. But if you want to change any of the wording of the approval email, the denied email, the pending message, or anything else, you have a full HTML editor where you can add some pictures if you want to, or any formatting. And of course, you can edit the wording in any language as well. Moving on to the next page in the user management tools, we've got the affiliations page. The affiliations page is where you manage all of your user types. So you can see in the case of Manchester Grammar, they've got two user types, Old Mancunian and staff members. And for each of these, you can decide exactly what they can do on the platform. So for example, if we go along the row of Old Mancunians, you can see that you can decide exactly which pages those users have access to. You can turn on or off any of those pages. Within any of those pages, you can decide what content they can post. So for example, you may have students that you would like them to have access to the job board, say, but you don't want them to be able to actually post new jobs. You can do that as well. You then have options of who you'd like them to be able to message. So for each user type, you can decide which other user types they're able to message. You also can decide for each user type whose contact details they can see. So obviously, as I showed you in the user settings page, each user can decide for themselves who they show their contact details to. But on a global level, the admin can decide if there's a certain user type whose contact details should be hidden, for example. And you also have the example to have completely hidden profiles as well. If you want people not to appear in the directory, we can do that too. If you want to add more user types, you can do that as well. You simply click on the plus button, and that will add additional user types too. So here you have a huge amount of flexibility in giving a bespoke experience for each and every one of your stakeholders and user types. The next page is profile attributes. Profile attributes is really about giving you the most flexibility when it comes to collecting user data. There's a ton of data you want to have about your users, and this page gives you the option to have loads of flexibility in deciding how and what data you collect. So you can see over here, firstly, we have all of your different user types. So if I switch from one user type to the next, you can see the settings that appear on the page and will reflect that user type. And so for each user type, you can decide for each and every field if that field appears in registration, if that field appears in the user's profile, and whether or not that field is mandatory. You can also add additional fields as and where you see fit, and you can also decide for each and every field which is free text and which is single select and which is multi-select too. And for those fields which have lists, i.e. those that are single select or multi-select, you also have the option to upload your own list. So if you don't want to use our default list, but you have your own list of, say, industries, field of studies, or anything else, you can upload your own list, and again, of course, in any language. Scrolling down the page, just to give you a feel of how many questions and what information you can collect, you can see we've got some open questions here, where Manchester Grammar are asking some specific information from their students and alumni. Professional information, personal information, and there's really a huge amount of data you can collect and make a bespoke experience for each of your users. Going into the settings, again, I'm not going to go into every single option over here. We've got the regional settings over here, which is really everything to do with your location data. So you can set your location, which will appear in your communications, your preferred time zone, your preferred format and date format as well. And at the bottom, this is really where it comes to all of those translations. If you want to edit any of the translations on the platform, you simply download the current file of translations and wording, edit and make any changes you want, re-upload it, and that will propagate across the platform instantly. Moving on to the giving back section, we have two sections over here, willing to help in mentoring settings, which are really very similar. There's a few extra settings in the mentoring settings. And over here, you decide exactly what mentoring options you would like to have on your platform. So you can see in the case of Manchester Grammar, they've gone for 3 options to offer advice, review, resume, and internships. And for each of those, as you saw in registration, there's 2 sides of the coin. There's those that are offering help and those that are seeking help. And for each of the user types, you can decide who can offer help and who can seek help for each and every option. Obviously, these are all just the ones that Manchester Grammar chose, but you can remove them as additional ones, and you can even drag them to reorder them if you want to as well. You also decide which of these options are pre-selected, so you can simply check or uncheck that checkbox as you see fit. Scrolling down the page, we have the algorithm matching that I mentioned earlier. So if you recall, when I showed you the user end of the platform, we have the mentoring page where we had the suggested mentors, and it showed you the percentage match. So this is where all the magic happens. You can decide exactly what factors are important to you when it comes to mentoring relationship. So if you decide, for example, that you think it's very important that mentors meet face-to-face, really, and therefore location is very important, you put that on a 10 like you've done over here. But you can change that, play around with it until you're happy with it. You have full control over it. Scrolling down, we also have mentoring restrictions. So very important, especially when it comes to some of your VIP alumni. We don't want anyone to get bombarded with people requesting their help. So you can decide how many mentees each mentor will have and how many mentoring requests each mentee can send. So for example, if you want people to have no more than 4 mentees, you simply select that over here. Obviously, again, the user on their own end can overwrite that. So if a specific user wants only 1 mentee, they can decide that. On a global level, the admin sets that over here. And then moving on to the job section, we have over here different employment types. You can decide if the widget appears on the feed page, and this is also where we're going to be adding shortly the settings for the RSS feed, which I mentioned earlier as well. I'm going to pause over here. We've got more to get through. We want to talk about upgrades, and we've got also an award ceremony. Maybe we'll just take a couple more questions on the admin side before I introduce Michael Goldberg.
And once we're going, Chris will take this side, and I'll take this side. Whilst we look at questions, I have the ability to praise Michael and the team. What I love about what they've done, they've taken 5 years of experience and feedback, And a lot of you will be nodding and thinking, oh, that was my piece of feedback that they took on, which is great. But it's not complicated. To get a fully customizable, fully flexible product that is simple to use isn't an easy thing to do. And I think that's the greatness of what they've achieved. So I'll walk up here, and Chris, you got a question? Please start with him.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. How customizable is the URL?
You can pick any URL you want. As long as it's available, you can have any URL.
Sorry.
Hi, Elizabeth McWilliams from Churchill College. We are about to go live, hopefully later this month, with the new platform. Having started working with the legacy site and now moving to this one, I'm really impressed. It looks a lot better and it's great, it's more customizable. My question is quite specific about that customization. When I was sent a document of things I need to get set up to launch, there's talk about colors and about the color that gradates across those 3 landing page images. This has to be the same color as the secondary color on the site. This just isn't working for me. I don't want a gradating color. Can I not have that? Also, it seems like some images you can upload yourself, like the long, thin banner image, whereas the 3 landing page images, Graduway have to upload those. Can I not have the functionality if we want to change things to do that, so we can respond to that more quickly? So I'm just a bit curious as to why some things we seem to have a lot of customization facility at the admin end, whereas other things seem to have to be done at Graduway'S end.
Sure. Thank you for that question. So there's 2 parts to it. So firstly, you're right in saying that some of the design functionality is only done by Graduway. We're actually moving away from that. We're going to be adding an additional interface in your school admin platform admin side, where you can actually have control of all of the pictures and all of the colors. So that's kind of a transition we're doing. You see all the new stuff you've seen is done by yourselves. Specifically for the landing page especially, we're going to be creating a new interface where you can have control over that as well. In terms of the design and flexibility, we try to give you as much flexibility as possible. Obviously, at the end of the day, we are talking about a template. Everyone's talking about the same core code. I'll be very happy to sit with you to go through exactly what's not working for you, because we obviously put a lot of thought into how it works and what colors go where, so please feel free.
Hi, Susanna Doyle here. I had 3 questions. One, I'm not seeing a news feed. I'm wondering, sorry, I'm over here. I'm wondering if the news feed is gone. Second question is, I'm curious if somebody logs in using their LinkedIn account. I know currently, unless that person relogs in and sort of updates their LinkedIn account, it will only show their original LinkedIn account details. So they might have changed their LinkedIn profile on LinkedIn over the months, but it's not appearing in the actual platform. So I'm curious, in this new edition, will their LinkedIn profiles automatically update anytime they log in? And the last question is the class only by year, or can we determine how we define class? So if perhaps we're organizing class by faculty, say.
Yeah, okay, 3 good questions. So your first question was about
the news.
The news feed, yeah. So we're actually in the process of developing a news and resources section, which is actually a very much beefed up and improved news section. So whereas in the current platform, in the legacy platform, you only had news widgets, which would redirect to external links, we're now going to have a whole section where you can host original content. So if you don't want to redirect to external sites, you actually want to host the full blog. You can host MP3s, podcasts, you can upload documents. There's a whole resources section over there which we're going to be adding in due course. Your question about LinkedIn resyncing. So automatic resyncing from LinkedIn is actually against the LinkedIn terms and conditions, unfortunately. We do have the option for a user at any time to resync their LinkedIn profile. And we're also going to be adding prompts to try and encourage people to do that, to always get the most up-to-date information. And your final question was
on the class, how you define class.
Yes, the class. Let me show you that, because I didn't actually show you that in the demonstration. So if you go to the profile attributes page as an admin, you can see over here we've got the option to define a class. And what you actually have over here is the option to decide exactly how you define a class. So you can take any combination of fields, and you can say that is what we call a class. So maybe for schools like Manchester Grammar, year is most important. Probably, I imagine, for universities, you'd want to consider fields of study degree as well. So you have full control over deciding how exactly you define a class. Sure.
Hi. First of all, it looks great. Really, really great. Really impressed.
Thanks.
And first question is, how many admins can the site have? How many admin users?
There's no limit. You can, and you now also have control over that as well. So if I show you very quickly, in admin management, you can see over here, these are all the admins that you have on the platform. These are the people you've invited. And you also have 2 levels of admin management, can manage other admins. So if you allow an admin to have the high level of admin access, that means they can also add and delete other admins as well. So you don't need to go to your customer success manager and ask them to add or delete admins. You can do that yourself as well.
Great, thank you. And I didn't see the donations button. Has that disappeared? Has that been taken out? Or?
So let me show you that. If I go back to the user side of the platform, and we have over here, this is the donation widget. Over here, managed to have it linking out to an external page where they collect donations. But yeah, you have that over there. And in the mobile, actually, maybe I'll show it to you quickly, it's because we don't have the right-hand panel, we've actually given that higher prominence as well within the feed. So if I just refresh that page, so that donation is now pinned to be the 3rd item in the feed to make sure it gets decent prominence as well.
Will that just be a widget, or will that have its own dedicated page in the future? Will there be a dedicated donate page that could have more?
So there's no internal processing system. At the moment, it's going to be either external, or if you want to add PayPal, for example, we can add that button as well if you want.
And to add to that, not yet. We're looking at actually acquiring a company that does that, if people are interested.
Sure.
Hello. I do have one question. Looking from the user's account, is it possible for the user to, from the student status, become an alumni?
Yes. So as an admin, you have the option to go into someone's profile and update it to become a different user type. I think that's already possible. Let me just check that now. Let's just try and do that together. So if I go into someone's user, you can see you've got this section of here. So you can see as an admin, you have the options to change their user type. We're also in the process of adding a data management section, which is what many of you know as file-based integration from the legacy platform, where you can actually en masse upload a file to update users' profile information. So if you don't want to do it one by one, you can do that en masse, and you'll be able to update that as well as and when they graduate or anything else changes.
So the user would do that by...
The user can't do that. We don't want to give the user the right to change their own affiliation, but the admin has the ability to change it when, as and when it's relevant.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Amy from the British School of Milan. I didn't see albums, photo albums. I was wondering what was that going to look like, if it's going to be similar to Facebook or a slideshow, or perhaps something that we could use for archival material?
Yeah,
old yearbook photos and that sort?
So the albums is not yet developed. We're going to be adding that. And it will be, as you'd expect from any social media, similar to how Facebook works. There'll be albums, photos, people's tagged, comments, etc. for each photo. You can already, for those of you who've been using the network for this summit, you'll see you can already add photos. You can already add various information to each photo, and then, but in due course, we're going to be adding a full album section.
So we'll hold on questions at that point, I think, until the end. But just, I think it does raise a key point. If you're trying to think about product parity versus the legacy product, you're going to be disappointed because it's going to be very confusing, because there's so much more in the new product. You're right, the photo album's not yet developed. So I think all we can do is be transparent, show you what's in the next generation platform, and you will decide, and what's coming down the line, and you will decide at what point that you say, well, there's so much more flexibility, functionality in next generation platform that I'd like to transition and upgrade now, rather than wait. So what we can do is there'll be others that say, you know, this particular feature is so important to me, I want to wait till later. That's also fine. So our job is to be transparent, show you what's in the NGP, so you can decide at what point you want to transition. So at this point, I'm going to invite Michael Goldberg just to talk about that transition and how it will actually work. So over to Michael. Welcome, Michael. Give him a clap. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
Thank you, Daniel. So for those of you who I haven't met, my name, to keep things nice and easy, is also Michael. And I am responsible for managing the upgrade of all our existing clients from their legacy platform to their next generation platform. So I'm going to spend a few minutes now talking through that process and show you how simple and seamless that's going to be. So we think of it as a, sorry, the wrong way. We think of it as a three-stage process. The first step is to prepare. So this is where we're going to work with you to identify when is the best date for you to upgrade. We want to make sure you're comfortable in using the next generation platform, knowing how you can continue to do your day job. And there's some images that we're going to need from you so we can upload them onto the new platform, and obviously we'll send you the specifications and make sure you're clear on what's needed there. The next stage is the upgrade itself. This is where we will move all your existing content and settings from your legacy platform onto your next generation platform. So all your jobs, all your events, all your posts will automatically move over. And then all your settings as well will also be moved over and mirror what you have on your existing platform. So for example, if you have students on your platform today, but you don't allow them to post anything, they just have view-only access, those exact settings will mirror in the next generation platform. So really on upgrade day, your platform will be exactly how it is today with the new design on the next generation platform. And then the final stage is what we're most excited about. It's the optimized phase. So hopefully you've seen from the demonstration today the huge opportunities that NGP creates, whether that be the new design, whether that be the customization, or whether that be the increased engagement. And we really want to work with you over the next 3, 6, 12 months to really make sure that you are getting the best possible experience from NGP, and to make sure you're using it to its full potential, both for you and for your users. So we really see it as an ongoing process to make sure you're making use and getting the best from all these new, amazing and additional features. So that's the process. We have, I think in the room, we have a Shrewsbury School, I think, are in the room. Do you want to give us a wave? Yeah, no here. But they are a new client who have gone straight onto the next generation platform. And we also have Simon Jones here, who, as of this morning, was our first existing client to upgrade. I think you just want to say a few words on the process.
Hello, it's me. Dead simple, I sent 2 emails. One to Michael 3 weeks ago, and oi, Goldberg, I'm important, transition me now, and he's done it. Second email was to my director of communications saying, please can you send Graduway these images. That happened. I arrived here, I went out last night. When I got home, that had been done. I've done nothing at all apart from send 2 emails, and they have transitioned my platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I don't know if we have time for any more questions.
I don't think we have any more questions now. Michael Goldberg is around, Michael Skerder is around, but again, I don't want to be presumptuous on applause, but I would like your applause to thank the product team for what they've done. And it's ongoing, right? With product development, it's ongoing. This is not the finished product. Okay, we want to keep going, growing, learning with you. You're going to be playing with it. You're going to be giving us feedback. We have a ton of features that we want to develop, but we've now moved to a much more flexible, customizable environment, much better look. And I think the other thing I'd just say to you is that it's a win. This is a great opportunity for our existing clients to relaunch, to tell their users, your alumni, your students, your parents, your faculty, of how that you've listened to their feedback, which you've in turn given to us, and the opportunities for them to get involved in your network. So this is a huge marketing opportunity, I think a big win. I think for you to go back to your boss and say, we've got this new upgraded product, okay, did we charge you a lot of money for this? No, we did not, right? It was included. So another thing with Graduate, we upgrade, it's included. There was no hidden charges, and it was seamless, and it was easy, and it's beautiful, and it's delicious. So all of those concepts I hope you got.